Before we begin, viewers, I just want to thank you all for 400 subscribers, and I do apologize for this coming out so late. But don't worry, the other milestone videos are on the works, so should be expecting something pretty soon. But regardless, enjoy the video of Summertime True Horror Stories.
The Dyatlov Pass Incident, a survivor's nightmare. We were all so young and full of life that winter. It was 1959, and for us, the world seemed vast, unexplored. A playground, waiting for those brave enough to venture into its cold, untouched corners. The Ural Mountains beckoned, their snow-covered peaks a challenge that called to our adventurous spirits. We were 10 in total, university students and friends, each of us eager to prove our mettle on what we knew would be a grueling trek. At the time, none of us could have imagined how it would all end. My name is Yuri Yudin. I was one of the lucky ones. At least, that's what people tell me. To this day, I'm not sure if luck is the right word, because what I lived through, what I avoided, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. It all started on January 23rd, when we set out from Sverdlovsk, now Yekaterinburg. The group was led by Igor Dyatlov, a brilliant and confident young man who had meticulously planned every detail of our journey. We were aiming for Otorten Mountain, a remote and treacherous route classified as the highest difficulty. It was a challenge we welcomed. We were well prepared, at least we thought we were. The first few days were exhilarating. The cold bit at our faces, but we laughed through it, snapping photographs and jotting down every detail in our journals. Each night, we huddled in our tent, swapping stories, sharing food, and planning the next day. The camaraderie was infectious. It felt like nothing could go wrong. But as we pushed deeper into the wilderness, the weather took a turn. The winds howled louder, the snow fell heavier, and the temperature plummeted. My health, which had never been good to begin with, started to deteriorate. My joints ached with every step, and I found myself lagging behind the group. On January 28th, Igor made the call. I would turn back. It was for my own safety, he said. I didn't argue. As much as I hated leaving my friends, I knew I wouldn't survive the rest of the journey. I said my goodbyes, not knowing they would be the last time I'd see any of them alive. The rest of their journey is reconstructed from their diaries and the haunting evidence we found later. On February 1st, they reached Kolatsyako, or Dead Mountain, as the local Mansi people called it. The name was ominous, but the group didn't seem to mind. They set up their tent on the mountain slope, choosing an exposed spot rather than the shelter of the nearby forest. Maybe they wanted to practice camping in harsh conditions. Maybe they didn't realize how much danger they were in. And then, silence. For weeks, there was no word from them. When the group failed to return by February 12th as planned, a search party was sent out. I joined them, desperate for answers. What we found still haunts my dreams. The tent was the first thing we discovered. It was partially buried in snow, ripped open from the inside. Their belongings, boots, jackets, food, were still inside, untouched. It was as if they had fled in a blind panic despite the deadly cold outside. Then we found the bodies. The first two were near a makeshift campfire, dressed only in their underwear. Their hands were blackened from frostbite, their faces twisted in agony. It looked like they had died trying to warm themselves in the bitter cold. Further up the slope, we found three more bodies, spaced out as if they had been crawling back toward the tent. Their injuries were bizarre, fractured skulls, broken ribs, but there were no external wounds to explain the trauma. It It was as if an invisible force had crushed them. The last four were found months later, buried under snow in a ravine. Their injuries were even more horrifying. Lyudmila, one of the women, was missing her tongue and eyes. Some of their clothing contained traces of radiation, though no one could explain why. Theories swirled. An avalanche, a secret military experiment, an attack by indigenous tribes. Some even whispered about UFOs or supernatural forces, but none of them made sense. How could an avalanche cause such precise injuries? Why would they flee their warm tent into the freezing night? What force could terrify 9 experienced hikers so much that they abandoned all reason and ran barefoot into the snow? To this day, I have no answers. I only have nightmares of the friends I left behind, of the horrors they must have faced on that dark, frozen mountain. People call me lucky. I don't feel lucky. I feel haunted. The Lake Bodom murders. A night I'll never forget. It was supposed to be a perfect summer night. June 4th, 1960. The air was warm, the sky was clear, and the stars seemed brighter than I'd ever seen them. My friends and I, 4 teenagers full of life and excitement, decided to camp by Lake Bodom, a serene and peaceful spot near Espoo, Finland. We were young, in love, and carefree. Nothing could go wrong, or so we thought. I was Niels Gustafsson, one of the 4. There was Seppo, my best friend, his girlfriend, Anya, and my own girlfriend, Mila. We pitched our tent close to the water, laughing and telling stories as the sun set. The lake was beautiful, its surface shimmering in the moonlight. It was the kind of night that felt magical. As the hours passed, the atmosphere began to change. I can't explain it. Maybe it was the way the wind picked up, or the way the forest seemed darker than usual. Something felt off. I brushed it aside. We were having fun, and I didn't want to ruin the mood. We fell asleep together in the tent, huddled close for warmth. That's when it happened. I woke to chaos. At first I thought I was dreaming. The tent was shaking violently, the fabric ripping apart. I heard screams, Seppo's voice, then Mila's. I tried to move, but something struck me hard in the face. Pain exploded in my jaw, and the world spun around me. I don't remember much after that. When I came to, the sun was rising, casting an eerie light over the campsite. The tent was destroyed, torn open like an animal had attacked it. Blood stained the ground, and then I saw them, my friends, Seppo, Anja, Mila. They were dead. Their bodies were mutilated, their faces frozen in expressions of terror. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. I staggered toward the road, my head throbbing, my vision blurred. A group of hikers found me and called for help. The authorities arrived quickly, but their questions only made everything worse. Who did this? What had happened? I didn't know. I couldn't remember. The investigation went on for years, but no one was ever convicted. Some people even accused me, saying I had killed my friends in a drunken rage. But I knew the truth. I had seen the shadowy figure outside the tent that night, a faceless silhouette moving with inhuman speed. I had felt its presence, cold and malevolent. Whatever it wasn't human.
And there you have it, 400 subs special. I hope it was to all of you guys' likings, but I don't know if it's just me, but the audio just sounds low. When I'm doing the whole editing process, it sounds so low. So I'm not sure if I'm just losing it or if it's my audio equipment or something, but regardless, thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so that you get updates to my next newest videos, and all the other milestones are on their way pretty soon. Other than that, take it easy, stay safe, stay warm. Well, actually, no, you probably want to drink some water, to be fair. Stay hydrated, and always remember, we're always watching.